Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Today, I want to talk about soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, the feeling that you get after you work out that sucks. Because for me, I have always dealt with it and it just sucks. There's nothing more to it. Anyways, how can we reduce it? Why does it happen? All of the above. First is, why does it happen? Well, it is somewhat correlated to damage and somewhat to inflammation, but the honest answer is it's really not super well understood, which I know it sucks because everyone wants to know why, and you would think that we would have more research on it, but every time that we do research regarding DOMS, it just is so unclear. There's been a couple different hypotheses around why it happens and how to reduce it over the years, and some of them have been disproven. It's not lactic acid, that's the one thing that I can say. And the other thing that I can say is it's not micro tears. We know a lot more about what it's not than what it is, because we've had these hypotheses and we've tested them rigorously, but that has left us in this spot of, so it really doesn't matter why it happens. At the end of the day, we just want to know how to make it hurt less. The first and most obvious answer that everyone says is just, well, don't do a workout that leaves you ridiculously sore. Soreness is not correlated with stimulation, with growth. So just because you feel sore, that's really only an indicator that that muscle was worked. That's it. It's not more soreness equals more growth or more stimulation. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing with soreness is we want to ideally work out in a way that doesn't leave us super duper sore. The only way that we know for sure to decrease soreness is what's called the repeated bout effect, which is basically just when you do something, when you work out more than once, it reduces, your body has protective mechanisms that reduce soreness and damage. But other than that, it would be just to avoid things like drop sets and supersets and lengthened partials. We know that spending more time in the lengthened position, while it does seem that lengthened positions tend to be more conducive to muscle growth, we also know that they cause more damage, and with damage tends to come soreness. Again, not a one-to-one correlation, but typically somewhat correlated. So ideally, we're not doing super damaging workouts, and we should be avoiding super damaging workouts for other reasons, not just soreness, mainly because we don't want to be causing a ton of muscle damage. You don't need to cause a lot of muscle damage to grow. That's another myth. There's just so many myths around muscle growth and damage specifically, just because everyone used to think you had to beat the hell out of your muscles to then grow them back bigger, which I can laugh about it now, but honestly, there was some data around it. Anyways, let's get into some practical applications. First, you don't need to do a ton of volume, right? We know the floor for growth, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, is 1 set twice a week with 2 reps in reserve. That's the floor for growth in trained individuals. So it's very easy to grow, it's just very slow. Second, besides not doing ridiculous amounts of volume, again, I said it, don't need to do a ton of intensifiers. You don't need to be doing lengthened partials. You don't need to be doing a bunch of super stretch work. And that's another thing, actually, is while we're on the topic of reducing soreness, we can talk about things that don't. Stretching does not reduce muscle soreness. And stretching just doesn't really seem to do very much. If you do it before your workout, especially if you do intense stretching, it can actually reduce your output. And it causes acute, so short-term increases in range of motion. It does have some chronic or long-term increases, but for the most part, you're getting acute benefits from it. So things that you can do that actually reduce soreness outside of just your programming. If you've already optimized your programming to not be causing you to be super sore, what else can you do? Well, first is polyphenols. And these are in a lot of different foods, and you want to be getting a wide variety of polyphenols. So these are sort of anti-inflammatory foods, and there's different types, and typically different types they show up as different colors within food. So eating the rainbow is the best nutritional way that you can do it. And things that are high in polyphenols are berries, specifically blackberries and blueberries are really high, raspberries as well. Tomatoes actually are fairly high in polyphenols. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, get a good quality one. Chocolate, dark chocolate, and specifically high cacao. So it needs to be, if you're actually wanting to get health benefits from chocolate instead of just eating chocolate, it needs to be at least 70% cacao. You can also just do super pure cacao powder. And I'll tell you right now, I got a bar of 100% cacao because my coach put dark chocolate in my meal plan, and I got a bar of 100%. And oh my God, do not eat that just plain. You gotta put it, I put it in my Ninja Creamy last night, and that was much better. I'll put it in my cottage cheese with honey. Honey's another one. Honey has a lot of polyphenols in it. Oranges, orange juice, citrus, high in polyphenols. When you think about, so polyphenols are great for reducing muscle soreness. Things like pomegranate juice and tart cherry juice. When there's actually a lot of people for a long time thought that tart cherry juice was the secret to reducing DOMS. And that's because there was some studies that showed it. So it might have an effect, but more recently it seems that there's nothing really special about tart cherry juice or about pomegranate juice. It's more so just about the flavonoids and the polyphenols within them that is actually helping. So if you just have a diet that is very high in polyphenols, and that's going to be beneficial in many other ways, again, with reducing inflammation, having more plants is going to be good for your gut health. Polyphenols are also good for your gut. So good for your gut, good for lowering inflammation. Normally those go hand in hand. Oh, he's talking about gut health again. Yes, everything ties back to the gut. And that's the one thing, is definitely just crank your polyphenol content up. In terms of other factors, things like heat and ice baths have been shown to have small effects. With ice baths, I will never recommend them though, because they blunt hypertrophy signaling, they blunt the muscle growth stimulus. So would you rather be a little bit, and again, the decrease in soreness is very small. So would you rather be just a touch less sore and grow less? I guess that's up to you, but I would rather do something like the sauna, because that's been shown to have roughly the same effect on soreness, but not have those detrimental effects to muscle growth. If anything, it might benefit you. And foam rolling has been shown to maybe have some effect, again, just acutely. So one thing that I've started doing recently is I will foam roll right before things that will typically make me sore. And I haven't really noticed a huge difference. I just started it, so this is anecdote, but I will say that it has helped just with that damage sort of thing. A lot of it, when it comes down to it, with soreness, is just that feeling of being sore really sucks, and you sort of desensitize your brain when you do the foam rolling. You're not manipulating your fascia. I'll tell you that right now. Anyone that says that you're actually manipulating your fascia in any way, in any significant fashion, is not caught up with physiology. You would have to be demolishing yourself with a foam roller. You'd need an industrial jackhammer attached to your foam roller if you wanted to actually manipulate your fascia. But in terms of supplementation as well, the number one supplement that it looks like has good effects on soreness is actually curcumin, so turmeric. And turmeric supplementation has a lot of different benefits. Again, a lot around gut health. This is what I think is kind of cool, is as I've done more research on soreness, because I'm telling you, my soreness is terrible. I get so badly sore, and I always have. And that's one thing I'll say, soreness never goes away. If you're committed to being a bodybuilder, or you just want to go to the gym for the rest of your life, you're going to be sore pretty much perpetually. Some part of you is always going to be a little bit sore. Again, you shouldn't be so sore to where you're dying, but you're going to be a little bit sore. And what is that? I don't know. Anyways, you're going to be sore. And so that's part of it. Part of it is just learning to deal with it. But curcumin is solid when it comes to reducing soreness. They've actually ran some trials on it, and there are a couple different types of curcumin. You're probably, if you're just hearing, oh, turmeric, I'm just going to start putting turmeric in all my foods. It's probably, you're not going to get enough. You would have to be spending an ungodly amount of money on turmeric, and I would just say just supplement it. And again, there's anti-inflammatory things. There's some stuff with cognitive function. Turmeric just seems, or curcumin just seems like something that's good to throw in. There's higher absorption kinds. So there's Nova Sol is one of the better for absorption. There's also, I think the one that I have, I don't remember the one that I have, but there's a specific trial around it where they were looking at DOMS reductions, and they did find significant reductions. And I'm just trying it out, so I'll let you know in about a week, 2 weeks. I'll let you know how I'm feeling, if it's actually helping or if I can take it out of the rotation, because it's not a super expensive supplement either. And again, for the just gut health benefits and the cognitive and the inflammation, might as well throw it in. And there's really not, it doesn't seem like there's any negative side effects to curcumin supplementation. So that is something that I'm going to be experimenting with. But that does look like the most effective supplement when it comes to actually reducing soreness. But again, when we have looked at this, there's the most recent meta-analysis on just practices to reduce soreness. It doesn't seem like there's really much that you can do that has a huge effect. It's all going to be very minute, but just to kind of wrap things up here, in terms of dietary intervention, polyphenols are going to be your best bet. Flavonoids, just getting a wide variety of antioxidants, anti-inflammatories from berries and dark chocolate and extra virgin olive oil. Beans are also great. And then again, curcumin for supplementation. For physical interventions, I would say foam rolling, massage gun, actual massages, and avoid ice baths. And then the main factor is going to be your training, so just don't train like a dumbass. And remember that more soreness does not equal more muscle growth. Anyways, that's all I've got for y'all today. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Love you. Peace.